44% of people are saying now that they are going to have to go into debt to get their kids back to school. Fresh and dry veggies up 39%, beef up 80%, toys, appliances, shoes. You say Donald Trump tells it like it is. Literally today, he said inflation cooling right where we want it. And we got the U.S. wholesale inflation number, which is the highest that it's been in 3 years.
I want to hop into Fox News The Five with liberal Jessica Tarlov shutting down her MAGA co-hosts on many of Trump's lies, per usual. So if you haven't already, leave us a like on the video. It helps us out a ton. It gets us a big boost in the algorithm. And let's get right to the debate.
You say Donald Trump tells it like it is. Literally today, he said inflation cooling right where we want it. And we got the U.S. wholesale inflation number, which is the highest that it's been in 3 years. Fresh and dry veggies up 39%, beef up 80%, toys, appliances, shoes, things that we all need. 44% of people are saying now that they are going to have to go into debt to get their kids back to school.
And this is what MAGA just loves to ignore. I wonder why. It's the same clowns who were crying inflation every single day under Biden because there was no other economic metric they could point to do Democrats bad. Their whole shtick, despite the inflation clearly being a global trend, the largest CPI increase to that point being in 2020, so clearly beginning under Trump, and it began to take off. Inflation spiked under Biden prior to him passing any legislation. It's also funny because MAGA will now call this inflation right now Biden's inflation. I get these comments still all the time. 6 months into Trump's term, it's Biden's inflation, but the inflation that started to spike less than 6 months into Biden's presidency, yeah, that's not Trump's fault either. Like, these clowns should not ever be taken serious because none of them care about inflation at all, really. They just think when they can do Democrats bad, they'll do it. They couldn't even tell you why it's bad to the economy. They have nothing to say about Trump's inflation because it makes Republicans look bad, and that's not tied to a global trend. But the one that's tied to a global trend is somehow so bad in Democrats' fault. I mean, imagine actually trying to tout the economy is good while people are going in debt to send their kids to school.
What is also the most important aspect of this is that taking over the DC police, like what he did in Los Angeles as well, is part of this massive consolidation of power that Donald Trump has been undertaking. So when you call an emergency for everything, and he even said today, remember, it is an emergency. It is not. He said at first, I have 30 days. And then he said, well, I can make it a national emergency and then it would be forever. I could do it. I don't know if I will, how he plays around with that. What he's doing with redistricting mid-cycle, how he's going after universities and law firms, how he's firing people who give him information that he doesn't want, like the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
All legal.
And he puts in a guy who goes to January 6th who's going to do what he wants, and maybe we won't have a job report.
What is your alternative? Please tell us
to have
one.
a Democratic president.
They all know she's exactly correct, and that's why there's no real response here. They played Banana Republic, Biden's a dictator, while also having dementia, I guess, for 4 years, only to now either ignore or cheer the rapid consolidation of power in front of their face. Like the actual means of eroding democracy and shifting towards a more authoritarian and dictatorial type of governance, overstepping due process, free speech, the co-equal branches, things like the Impoundment Control Act. I mean, the list goes on. It's the biggest usurping of democracy we've seen since Trump's attempt to steal the election in 2020. The left has never been more vindicated on this, and I do believe this will leave a lasting stain on Republicans electorally. That or we'll enter a very, very dark period for America.
Hey, let's go.
Fox News, thank you for calling it a hoagie, though. I really appreciated that as a feeling.
Also, if you back the blue, Judge Jeanine, who I miss dearly, then he pardoned all these January 6ers who beat the crap out of police.
They didn't beat the crap out of police.
Really? No.
Oh, who died on January 6th?
Ashley Babbitt. Say
That's all
her
you need
name.
to know.
No, it is not all you need to know.
You do.
Officers Brian Sitnick, Howard Liebengood, Jeffrey Smith, Kyle Hendrick, Gunther Hashida, all died shortly after January 6th because of the attack. And these sick will try to erase them from the history books because it makes Trump look like the criminal he is. Meanwhile, these same clowns will say the same name of somebody killed by a migrant for 2 years. They still say Laken Riley, but they don't say Brian Sicknick. I wonder why. Also, there were guns and plenty of weapons on the premises on January 6th. Also, just because the people doing the insurrection are stupid doesn't mean it's not an insurrection. Conservatives are just stupid. Because they were bad at it doesn't mean that it wasn't an insurrection. Maybe get smarter people to do the insurrection next time. These people broke in, they beat cops, and they tried to hold lawmakers hostage and successfully thwarted the peaceful transfer of power, all in a larger overarching plot to get Mike Pence to go against the Constitution, against the ECA, and validate or verify, I should say, Trump's knowingly fraudulent electors. Not only did Trump incite all of this, he has since defunded security efforts in DC. So for him to now be having the talking point about crime in DC is hilarious. It's the epitome of MAGA, really. It's literally anything to do Democrats bad. They won't do enough research to even substantiate those positions, but there's always some justification or just blatant ignoring of it when it's their side then doing the same thing. And they lie to do Democrat bad anyway, so why should we take them serious? Why should we involve them in serious discussion? Vote them out and excommunicate them from political circles.